Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at applying systems of inequalities. I'd like for you to pause the video and copy the keywords and also copy down the steps to write or apply systems. So now that you've copied your information, let's go over it really briefly. When we're applying systems of equations, inequalities, whatever it may be, we've got to understand what our words are signaling. So just as a quick reminder, on the left side, the answer to an addition problem is sum. That signals to put a plus sign. Minus is difference. X, the answer is a product. Division, the answer to that problem is a quotient. And also, many times the word is or total signals an equal sign. But we're talking today about inequalities. So less than or equal to, you'll hear words like no more than, at most, or what it is, less than or equal to. Less than, you might also hear fewer than. That means put a less than symbol. If you hear greater than or equal to, no less than, or at least, you put a greater than or equal to symbol. And just greater than or more than is a greater than symbol. And quickly, when we're writing systems, we want to identify our variables. That can be our X and Y is what that represents. Remember, we can use different letters sometimes. Next, we write our system. Third, we solve that system, and we're going to use a calculator to do that, so you might want to put that in your notes. We're going to use Desmos for that. And we're going to use that solution to answer the question. So now let's get into it. So I have 4 examples here for you. So number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So remember, anytime I'm faced with a word problem, the first thing I do is I kind of skim through it, looking for the question or what it's wanting us to do. So Jim has over 40 contacts saved on his phone. The contacts are made up of friends and family. The number of contacts that are friends is at least 2 times the number of contacts that are family. If X represents family and Y represents friends, here it is right here. Write a system to represent the situation. So that's all I have to do for number 1. So first, I need to identify my variables. Well, they were nice enough to do that for us. They said that X represents family and Y represents friends. Now let's reread a little more carefully to look for relationships. I'm going to use blue. Jim has over 40 contacts. Over 40 contacts. So that tells me if he has friends and family, he has greater than 40. So that's going to be my first inequality in the system. Now let's look for another relationship. The contacts are made up of friends and family. The number of contacts that are friends is at least 2 times the number of contacts that are family. So what did we use to represent friends? We used Y to represent friends. And it says R is at least 2 times the number of contacts that are family. So 2 times, and we used X to represent family. But here's what I want to focus on. At least. If I look back at my chart, at least is a greater than or equal to symbol. At least. So those are the 2 inequalities in my system. Now let's go on to number 2. Again, I'm going to skim it and see what they want us to do. Jessica bought hot dog buns and hamburger buns for a neighborhood cookout. Total number of hot dog and hamburger buns was less than 50. And Jessica bought more hot dog buns than hamburger buns. X represents hamburger buns. Y represents hot dog buns. Here we go. Here's what they want us to do. Write a system to represent the situation. And almost always the question or what they want us to do is at the end, but just make sure. So if they want us to write a system, first I have to identify my variables. And again, they were nice enough to do that. They said X represents hamburger buns, Y represents hot dog buns. Now let's go back and write our system. So we got to look for relationships. Jessica bought hot dog buns and hamburger buns. Here we go. The total number of hot dog and hamburger buns was at least 50. So what did it say first? Hot dog, the total, that's another word that means addition. The total of hot dog and hamburger buns was less than, well, that's straightforward. Less than, you're going to use your less than symbol, was less than 50. Now look at the next relationship. The next relationship I see is Jessica bought more hot dog buns than hamburger buns. What letter did we say represents hot dog buns? Well, that's the Y. More hot dog buns. More means greater than. And we used X to represent hot dog or hamburger buns. So that's how you're going to write your system of inequalities. Now let's take it a step farther. Look at number 3. I'm going to skim and look for the answer, the question. So it says, you need at least 3 pounds of fruit to make muffins. Blueberries cost $4 per pound, strawberries cost $3 per pound, and you can spend at most $24. Can you buy 4 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries? And then it says to justify your answer. So in this case, we're going to have to go through all of our steps. First, we'll have to identify our variables. So what is this story or this problem about? Well, it looks to me like it's about blueberries and, well, let me not write that yet. Blueberries and strawberries. So I'm going to say X is the number of blueberries. I think it's the number of pounds of blueberries. And Y is the number of pounds of strawberries. So I've identified my variables. Next, I want to write my system. So now let's go back and look for a relationship. So it says I need to buy at least 3 pounds of fruit. So that means my blueberries plus my strawberries has to be something 3. Well, the word at least, if I look back at my chart, at least is greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to 3. Let's look for another relationship. My second relationship that I see here is blueberries cost $4 per pound, strawberries cost $3 per pound, and you can spend at most $24. So watch this. We have to pay $4 times the number of pounds of blueberries plus $3 times the number of pounds of strawberries, and we're going to do something with 24. That's the most. So at most means that we have to spend less than or equal to $24. So I've identified my variables. I have written my system. Next, I want to solve my system. And I'm going to, again, use Desmos for that because that is, that's a tool we have. I'm just jotting it down so I don't have to keep going back and forth. All right, so first I'm going to open Desmos. Let me find it. Okay, so I've got X plus Y. And remember, if you don't see the keyboard in the bottom left-hand corner, click on your keyboard so you can use your symbols. So X plus Y is greater than or equal to 3. So there's that red shaded area. My next inequality was 4X plus 3Y is less than or equal to 24. So I've got my dark shaded area with some solid lines. Now let's use that to answer my question. So the question says, can you buy 4 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries? Well, guys, didn't I say that blueberries, that's represented by the X value? So what that's asking is if the point 4 and 1 represents the Y value, 1. So really what they're asking is 4, 1 a solution to this system? So I'm going to go back to my graph here, and I'm going to have to do some zooming. If you look, let me make sure, if I go over 4 and up 1, that is clearly in the darkest shaded area, the dark area. So what that means is, yes, you can buy 4 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries. I hate that I have to write small here, but stick with me. Now here's the key. It said justify your answer. You're simply going to state because 4, 1 is in the solution area, or 4, 1 is a solution to the system. Okay, so bottom line, that's how we check our answers. So the point 4, 1 means I can get 4 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries. So let's try one more. Number 4. Excuse me. You need to earn at least $120 a week working as a grocery store clerk and teaching music. You earn $10 per hour at the grocery store, $15 per hour teaching music. You're required to work at the grocery store at least 8 hours a week, but you don't want to work more than 20 hours total. Can you work 8 hours at the grocery store and teach 1 hour of music? Justify your answer. That right there is my question. Can you work 8 hours at the grocery store and teach 1 hour of music? So it seems to me like I'm going to have to write a system and use that to solve. Well, here's what I want to tell you. You can have more than 2 inequalities in a system. You can have more than 2 equations in a system. Okay? So watch what happens here. So first, I'm going to identify my variables. So it looks to me like there are 2 things that this is about. He can either work at the grocery store, number of hours at the grocery store. So I'm going to write X equals grocery store, but that means the number of hours he works at the grocery store. And Y equals how many hours he teaches music. Okay? So let's go through and write our system. You need to earn at least 120 hours a week working at your 2 jobs. You need to earn at least $120 a week. So here's the thing. At least means greater than or equal to $120. But remember, I can't just put X plus Y because that's just my hours. Let's finish this relationship. You earn $10 per hour at the grocery store and $15 per hour teaching music. So, $10 per hour at the grocery store times the number of hours you work plus $15 per hour times the number of hours you teach is greater than or equal to 120. Now let's look at the next relationship. And I thought this had 3, but I think it might. Let's keep going. Look at the next relationship. You are required to work at the grocery store at least 8 hours a week. So your number of hours at the grocery store has to be at least 8 hours. At least, if you need to go back, represents greater than or equal to. But they also give us a third relationship. But you do not want to work more than 20 hours total. So that means you don't want to work at the grocery store and teaching more than a total of 20 hours. So that means you want to work less than or equal to 20 hours. So that's my system. Again, have I answered my question yet? It says, can you work 8 hours at the grocery store and teach 1 hour of music? Well, I'm not sure yet. Now I need to solve my system. So I'm going to go back, clear out all my old stuff. And here I can't see my keyboard, so I have to open that up. So my first inequality is 10x plus 15y. 10x plus 15y is greater than or equal to 20. Greater than or equal to 20. That's my first system. Inequality. My next inequality is x is greater than or equal to 8. X is greater than or equal to 8. So there's my second shaded area. So the darker area is my solution, but I have another one. I have a third inequality. X plus y is less than or equal to 20. X plus y is less than or equal to 20. Again, it's okay to have 3 inequalities, but we want to make sure that we understand where all 3 colors meet. That's the solution to my system. And in this case, it looks gray, like dark, dark gray. All right, so now let's answer our question. So it says, can we work 8 hours at the grocery store and teach 1 hour of music? Well, we said hours at the grocery store is X. So I'm going to put 8 in the X position. And we said Y was the number of hours you teach music. And they're asking, can I teach 1 hour of music and work at the grocery store? So the point we want to test is 8, 1. So we want to go over 8. Make sure I get in the right area. So we want to go over 8 and up. Let me close this. And up 1. Okay, here we go. Over 8, up 1. Now I notice there's a solid line, but I need to go back and check my inequalities. At least. Yeah, so it looks like because it's on a solid line, over 8 up 1, yeah, he can work. So, or you can work, yes, comma. Let me make that lowercase. Yes. You can work 8 hours at the grocery store. And 1 hour teaching music. Now, if it had just asked that question, I'd be finished. But it asked me to justify my answer. And you would say, because, and you could write the point, 8, 1 is a solution to the system. That's my justification. Okay? So just remember, when you're applying systems of inequalities, make sure that you look for keywords. You can look back at your list. And if you have to answer questions, make sure you go through your steps. Identify your variables. Write your system. Solve your system, and then use that solution to answer your question. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.